everyone. You are listening to your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. My name is Kiana Rivera, and I'm the Vice President of Membership and Program Development here at the Chamber. And today we are joined by our guest, Erick Solms. So, Erick, thank you for being here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the invite. I truly appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. So, everyone, you know the drill. I'll read a quick bio, just a little bit about him, and then we'll get into our questions. So here we go. Since 2006, Erick has been on a wild ride in the world of IT, fueled by his passion for technology. Born and raised in Ecuador, Erick comes from humble beginnings. He came to the U.S. as an international student and earned a bachelor's degree in management information systems from FAU, and eventually secured a work visa. Now he's proud to be a U.S. citizen. Woo woo! In 2014, he launched Simplitfy. I always get that right. Simple IT fight for you. With the model, Simple IT for You. It specializes in IT and cybersecurity services for small businesses with the goal of securing as many businesses as possible to prevent them from falling victim to cybercrime. But Erick didn't stop there. He's also behind First Class Coins, Nativis, and Stealth Leaders. With a master's degree in MIS from Nova Southeastern University, he's a true tech guru. Erick's dedication to his community shines through his work on various boards, including the YMCA South Palm Beach County, HEI, and Spirit of Giving. He's also a trustee for both the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce and the Boca Chamber, showing his commitment to making a difference locally. When he's not diving into the digital world, Erick is all about soccer. As an avid Inter Miami fan, he was crowned Fan of the Year last year. What? Attending every single home and away game and exploring over 20 cities in the process. His love for sports and digital adventures, reading, and travel is deeply influenced by his Ecuadorian roots. Wow. Erick, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I didn't know all of that about you, so I'm so glad you shared that with us. But I want to start off right from the beginning when you said that you came to study here in the U.S. and then eventually got your citizenship. Walk me through how growing up, like, you knew that you had your eyes set here.
So I was raised by a single mother, and growing up I didn't have that father role model. And my sister decides, we lived in Ecuador at the time, she decides to get married, and her husband was from the U.S.
So you just have one sibling?
I have more from my dad's
Oh,
side.
okay, there we go.
Another five.
Five, wow.
So me and my sister, very close. She was like my best friend.
Right.
And she decides to move here. And the gentleman that she married with became my role model.
Oh, wow.
And obviously he lived here and he was in IT. So since I was 9, I knew I wanted to do IT.
Right.
And the whole path was, as soon as I will graduate from high school, I will have the opportunity to come here.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So that's how.
And
how
why? Well, and why FAU out of all the colleges?
It was the closest
to where he was.
Where
Yeah.
they were,
okay.
And it was the easiest, and
Right.
And it kind of all worked out, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if obviously come from really humble beginnings to have the ability to save money on where I was going to live was a big role. Have that home.
Right.
Play the best part of it. I wanted to be close to them and close to my sister.
No, of course. Well, and then when you graduated, did you always knew you wanted to start your own business, or before you started your own business, what experience did you have before that?
So my mother was always very entrepreneur. She was like, she has her own, she's a solopreneur, let's call it that. So she has her own business. So she was always,
pushing
always
you.
saw that.
Right.
But it was 2006. I knew I wanted to stay. And my options were I needed to get a work visa.
Right.
So one night, I don't recall, it was a weekend. Basically, I stay all night just applying for jobs.
Oh, wow.
And the second interview, basically, I went to the gentleman. His name is Frank Sweet, and I said, "Hey, Frank, how you doing?" He's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "All I want is you to sponsor me. Like, I need this. You want to pay me, don't pay me, whatever you want to do. All I want is your commitment that you're going to sponsor me, and I'll do anything I need."
Wow.
At that point, he was a developer, and he was going to try to venture into the world of IT.
Okay.
Because everybody that he met will say, "Hey, you're a developer, Frank. Do you know anybody that does IT?" So he's like,
Like a web developer?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
He was like, "Why don't I do this?" And
Right.
hire somebody to see where it takes. So he created the subdivision, and I was the first employee. So
Okay.
from the beginning, it was kind of like I was the owner without the liability.
Yeah.
Right. So,
No, 100%.
So I stayed there for, it took about 2006, about 7 years that I had to work for him in order for me to get my green card.
Right.
And all that stuff. So I had like 7 years
Of
a work
learning.
visa.
Yeah.
And then after that, the idea was always that, he had promised me he would make me a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got my green card, I was able to become a partner. And I said to him, hey, Frank, this is what I want,
Yeah.
let's do this. And he was like, Eric, I've been doing this all along just for you.
Oh,
You got your thing. I'm closing this.
that's great.
So he closed, and then I started my own.
What an amazing mentor.
Yeah,
the fact that he just was like, this whole time I've been waiting for you to get this done.
Yep.
Wow, that's incredible. So, and do you still have a great relationship with him?
We'll always have a great relationship.
Oh, wow.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Very grateful for what he did for me and my family and
wow.
opportunities.
That's amazing. And I'm sure then you were able to also take some of his clients too, because you were like transitioning into something you've created.
Yeah. So I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the thrive,
right.
Like to me, and I never saw it. I had a job,
Right.
But yeah, so we took over. I took over a couple of the clients enough for me to say, let's start something. I have a salary. It helped.
Right.
Right. But obviously it was just me.
Yeah.
Right? And the thrive, I don't know what it was, or the fire.
Right.
As an entrepreneur, knowing that it was mine. I don't know what it is. It just activated.
It activated that. Yeah. It activated that. Like you were talking about the drive and just the force behind I think what you have to have as a business owner in order for it to be successful. So that's great that you had that in you already and it kind of lit the fire under you.
10 years, that was 10 years ago, actually.
Wow, 10 years ago?
October 22nd, 2014 is when I started the company.
Wow.
It still has that same drive and the same fire.
Right.
So
And how many clients do you have right now?
I would probably say about anywhere between 80 to 90.
Wow.
80 to 90. Some clients are solopreneurs.
Right.
They grow.
Right.
I said to myself that I will never say no to a client that's starting.
Right.
When I went to my accountant the first time,
yeah,
the accountant that I interviewed said, no, you're too small for me. And so I said, it's stuck with me. And I said, I'll never be that.
Right.
Then we have clients that, have 5, 20, 30 employees, and clients that have, 100
yeah.
employees.
Well, I just have to give you guys praise because we love working with you. And when I joined the chamber, we had a totally different IT thing, and it was awful to say the least. And then meeting you, and when we had that meeting, it was just so exactly like your company. You made it so simple and easy to understand. And every single person on your team is wonderful. Like every time we call and pick up the phone, it's hi, how can I help you? Like your customer experience and customer service is there. So just know that you're doing a great job at the leadership board.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really do, trust me.
No, I'm serious. It's great. I was just talking to Raj yesterday. I love Raj. But all the other guys, it's like, I'll be in the middle of my own thing in my own world. And then, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need help. I'll call real quick. And they're just like, hey, Kiana. And they really kind of calm me down without them knowing they calm me down, because sometimes I can get really hyper in the moment. And I just appreciate that so much, because then I'm like, oh, okay, it can be fixed.
It's a service-based industry. And in today's world, you have SLA. SLA means, hey, if it's a printer, it can take up to 8 hours, that kind of thing, right?
Right.
In today's world, it's like everybody wants it.
Like right now, immediately. Yeah.
It's hard because you have to try to always maintain that level of support. Right.
So tell me a little bit about your company, everything you do, what do you guys offer, all of that.
So any members of the chamber, basically, we can do a complimentary assessment. Right? It's a free assessment depending on the level of compliance that's needed. We can also do a HIPAA compliance test if you're in the medical field. But it's complimentary, right? And from there, basically, we go. And why we do it free, it's because, one, we want to make sure that the customer feels like, yeah, this is a good fit. I like working with this team. I like how they are. So they can see if the culture fits, right? And second is basically I can really see what they have right or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if they have everything right, which oddly ever happens,
Right.
then I'll tell them, hey, you don't need us, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of the times, and most of the times, we go in and find the weaknesses, vulnerabilities that the company's having. They don't have a plan, like a strategic plan from a CIO standpoint, which, like from a technology standpoint,
Right.
they don't have what's going to happen in the next year, the next 3 years, in the next 5 years. They don't have any alignment strategy either that basically says, hey, are all the accounts on their MFA, like multi-factor authentication, which means just, hey, you put a password, it's going to ask you for a secondary digits. It's either through an app, through a text message, and we look for all those things. We try to fix and be proactive, which is a problem in the industry. It's really hard to do that.
Right.
We try to create a plan so they understand what their needs are in the future, and also find a medium between their productivity and their security. Right? If you want to be really secure, your productivity is going to decrease, right?
Right.
If you want to be really productive, then the security drops. So it's finding a medium, right? And helping the client walk by their side so they can understand that, yes, I'm going to lose some productivity, but I'm going to be secure.
Right. Well, and I think too, in the long run, companies would pick being secure over that other option, just because with the rate of so many people get hacked all the time, right? Like that two-factor authentication is a lifesaver. Like it takes you 1 extra second just to type in a number. So it's really just like, I think it helps us as people in the workforce to still like take a step back, because you can get caught up in just the really fast-paced environment. So sometimes these extra steps actually help us without us thinking, oh wow, this is helping us, just to like stop and see what's happening,
Correct. And that's what it's all about, right? It's they usually hack with the little things that of the unthinkable. Like you can have everything secure, and that one little thing that you didn't have secure, that's what gets you.
Right.
So businesses need to understand that, yes, not only they also have to implement the security tools, right, to mitigate the risk, but also have the what ifs, right?
Right.
And so every business, if anybody's listening, make sure that they all have cyber liability insurance.
Right.
Because if something happens, the odds are that you're going to need it.
Right.
Most people think, oh, if I get breached, I have a couple Bitcoins
Yeah.
laying around that I can pay.
Yeah.
But it's not just the Bitcoins, right?
Right.
You might need legal counseling, because you're going to get a lawsuit.
Right, and it'll get expensive.
Records. If you're in the medical field, notification services, that can be $150 to $200 per record.
Wow.
Just for the notification.
Oh.
You might need to pay for the software to protect the credit protection.
Right.
There's PR. You might need a public relation company to make sure that from this hit and
for
press,
future, right?
To get your name back out there. So there's so many things that can happen. Extortion, you name it. Right?
Yeah.
So.
No, oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy that we even have to like think about that stuff, but it's just the world we live in now. But real quick, you're listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and our guest is Erick Solms. Thank you so much again for being here. Now that I want to pivot real quick into our Technology Strategic Council at the Chamber, and just all the work that you and the other leaders have put into this council. So kind of give me a rundown of what this council is, how Chamber members can get involved, and just like really what is like the heart and soul of this program.
So it started with an idea, right? Of, hey, let's see if anybody wants to come in and see if we can help, right? And we did kind of like a mastermind, like a session, and it worked. And then obviously we started Hassan and I, right?
Right. You and Hassan from Grassy.
Right. And then basically a couple more people came in, and they loved the idea and the approach, and I think it's great, right? The whole idea is technology is so broad, right? It's kind of like doctors, right? It's like you can't be an expert in everything, and you can specialize in one, two, or many. Right? And having that ability offer as a complementary service to the members, I think it's great, right? Because if somebody comes in and says, hey, I need technology in the accounting perspective, then he can help. If a small medium business comes in, I can help. Her last name I think is Patel.
Oh, Patel, right.
Mrs. Patel can help with any telecommunication brokerage items that are needed, VoIP systems. She's very good. She's a very good integrator. Even from the healthcare perspective.
Right, Stephanie. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. It's so hard. It's like Romulus and then it's Kumakalus or something, but it's Stephanie from Solace Health.
We're all here to help.
Right.
Network, grow. And that's what it's all about, you know.
Right. So I think, too, the topics that you guys have discussed in the past and even for the future programming coming up this fall, and, you know, we talked about AI one time, and then secondly, we're going to talk about, like, tech in the healthcare industry, and then you and Hassan are going to tackle tech trends in 2025. You know, those are really important topics. I think that even if you're not in the tech space, people should still be aware of what's happening. So I think that's something to look forward to as well.
And that's correct, right? Because, like, for example, if I do IT, but if some trends in accounting are there, it still interests me because it's still a key function element in my business.
Right.
So that's the way to see it. It's having a good time, learn about something new or emphasize, or everybody has questions. Right? Bring your questions and happy to answer them, see if we can help you. If not, connect you with somebody that can. And that's what the Chamber's about.
No, I love that. And real quick, I just want to touch on what you do for fun. Tell me about this soccer obsession you have.
So it's obsession. I love that word. It's basically, I don't know. It's my out.
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
Is it true you really traveled to every single game this past year?
Last year.
Last year.
I went to
Wow.
like 22 cities. It was like 22 cities, but it was like 25 games because there's a couple cities that they played twice.
Wow.
It was so much fun.
I love that you're named the top fan. Like, can we get you a trophy for that, please?
No, they actually gave me a shirt signed with all the players.
Oh, that's actually so cool.
They walked me to the field at halftime, and then they invited me to the president's suite. So
what was that experience like?
To hang out with the owners. It was awesome.
Were you like total fanboy? Were you like, I can't believe I'm here right now?
They kept saying to me all year, if you go to every game, the VP of engagement, he kept saying, hey, if you really go to every game, we'll have something fun for you. And I was more intrigued to see what it was.
What it was. You're like, I'm dedicated now.
I kept saying they're just going to give me a scarf.
Right.
Just to not, but the shirt was really a nice gesture because it's signed by all the players.
Yeah.
Messi.
Did you get to meet him?
I did.
Oh, is he nice?
He's a nice guy.
Did you meet his bodyguard?
I see him all the time. Because my seat is right above his suite.
Oh, great.
So,
okay.
If he's injured right now, he's injured.
Yeah.
I always see him.
You're like, hey.
Yeah. So it's fine. It's a nice. It's a very family oriented club.
Right.
Right. So the things that they do, they try to do that. Mm-hmm. It's more like they're trying to build a culture that everybody goes and fits like it's family.
Right. And what was your most favorite game you attended of the last year? Was there one? No, Nashville. You said
when they won the title for the Leagues Cup.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it was the first title of the club.
Yeah.
It's a nice time.
Sweet. I love that. I love that. Well, so if you get some extra tickets, just remember us over here, okay? Because we'll go and support. I love to watch soccer games, but thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Real quick, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way that they can contact you about, their IT services or even just questions about the Tech Council?
Sure. So my email is esolms, ESOLMS, @simplitfy.com. It's like you simplify things, but you add a T between the I and the F.
And we'll link it in the bio as well of the podcast.
Phone.
Right.
My phone number is 561-425-6101.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Eric, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.